Hello, I'm Narendra, and today I'm going to present to you the symbolism and the legend of Lord Jagannath. The story of Jagannath is full of, mystery, and the legend says that there was this kingdom in the remote past whose king was Indrayumna. Indrayumna saw in his dream that there was a divine object somewhere in his kingdom which radiated the divine presence of Vishnu. And he was instructed that he should seek and find out that divine object and bring it to the masses so that they can worship it. So he sends his emissaries all over his kingdom, and there was this young man called Vidyapati. So he, while roaming in the forest, he saw one beautiful girl whose name was Lalita. She belonged to a tribe called the Savara tribe, and he fell in love with her. And the girl took him to his father, who was the chief of the tribe. His name was Vishwavasu. And obviously, Vidyapati and this girl Lalita, they were in love. Her father could see that, so he proposes marriage. That, are you willing to marry my daughter? Then he says yes. So they get married, and for some time the mission is forgotten. Vidyapati forgets why he has come. He was so much in love with the girl and all that. But every morning Vidyapati used to notice that his father-in-law, he used to leave early in the morning with flowers and incense and all that, and he used to come back after a few hours every morning without fail, no matter what the weather was. So he asked his wife that, where does your father go every morning? Then Lalita tells him that my father goes to a particular cave where we have some object which has been worshipped in our family for generations. So my father goes there to worship. It's a secret. We usually do not disclose this to anyone, and it is only my father who worships it. And every son in the family, after his father passes away, he continues the tradition. Then Vidyapati gets the intuition that probably this is the divine object that he is looking for. So he goes and approaches his father-in-law. Then he said that, I heard from Lalita about this object that you go and worship every day. Please take me along with you. I would like to have a look at it. Then, against much of his wishes, the father-in-law agrees. Vishwavasu agrees, but he says that you can't see that because we have kept it inside a stone, inside a box made of stone. It's not visible like that. But still, Vidyapati is insistent. So his father-in-law and he along with his wife, they go to that cave, and in that cave Vidyapati sees this bluish golden light, an aura kind of a thing, a light, and he realizes that this is the object that his king is looking for. So what he does is, after a few days, he goes out into the cave at night, and he steals it. He steals it, and simply he escapes and goes to his king and hands over the object. The king immediately, when he saw that, he realized that yes, this must be the object that I dreamed about. But that had to be, now this cannot be offered for worship. It's a box made of stone, and the king, in his good sense, he did not open the box to see what is there inside. So he was kind of puzzled, and he sought divine guidance again, that what to do with this box. And again another dream comes to him, and in that dream he is told that you go to the seashore tomorrow and you will find a log of would come floating. You bring that log of wood ashore, and with that wood you carve an image of Vishnu, and you put this divine object into that image. you place it inside that image that would be made out of that wooden log. So next day he goes and he really sees along with his people that a huge wooden log has come floating, but it's there in the middle of the sea. So they go, they take boats and they take a lot of people, but they are unable to bring that log ashore because it's so heavy. It's too heavy, and they are not able to manage it. So what he does is he's sitting dejectedly, and in his vision he sees Vishwavasu sitting outside the cave and crying because the divine object has been stolen by his own son-in-law. So immediately he takes Vidyapati along with him and goes to Vishwavasu, and he says, "This has happened. My courtier, my Vidyapati has done this. Your son-in-law. Uh, we are very sorry that this has happened. We have caused sorrow to you, but please understand that you can't have such a thing only for your own worship. This has to go to the masses. That is the divine instruction I got through my dream. So you please cooperate in this, because I think without your help we cannot bring that log onto the shore." Then Vishwavasu kind of he agrees and he goes along with the king. And as soon as Vishwavasu, he tries to help to bring the log ashore, it becomes very light and it is easily brought ashore. But the point is, nobody is willing or rather capable of carving a statue out of that wooden log. All the the stone carvers, they were all experts in carving stone. They had no experience of working on wood. So the king was wondering what to do. And suddenly an old man comes and he says that I will make an idol out of this wooden log, but I have a condition. When I am working with the log, with the making of the image, I should not be disturbed. I should be given a big room to work with this log, and I should not be disturbed under any circumstances. So the king agrees to it. That old man is given a place to work on the log, and every time they could hear some work going on inside, the sound of the instruments and all that. This goes on for several days. Now, suddenly one day the queen felt that no sound is coming from inside the room. So she gets suspicious that what is happening. This guy said he's inside the room, but nothing is happening. No sound is coming. So the second day also she went. Again, she could not hear any sound, and in her impatience, she forced the doors open. She went inside, and she saw that the person who was carving those statues, he is not there. He has vanished, and the statues are in an incomplete form. Whatever he has carved, the forms are incomplete. The hands, no legs, the hands are incomplete, and like that. So the king and the queen, they are both in dismay. But again, the king receives divine guidance that don't worry, whatever it is, in whatever form you see these idols, you take them and place it in the temple. This is how they should be worshipped, and this is the divine will, that they should be worshipped in this shape only. So that is what they do. They take the images of Subhadra, Balaram, and Krishna, and they place it inside the temple, and that divine object is placed inside the images. Now that object, it is usually called Brahma Padartha, or Brahma Vastu, as it is called. No one really knows what it is, and the whole thing is shrouded in secrecy and mystery. The ritual of putting that Brahma Padartha inside the image is done by a section of high priests who are called Daitapatis. Now again, there's a legend behind this Brahma Padartha. What it is supposed to be? Again, the legend says This is actually the heart of Krishna. When Krishna, what happens in the towards the end of the Mahabharata. There was this hunter. His name is Jarasavara. He was hunting, and Krishna was resting, and from afar, Jarasavara saw the feet of Krishna, and he felt that it was the ears. He mistook it for the ears of a deer or something, and he shot his arrow, and that arrow came and struck Krishna on his feet, and that is how he died. When Jarasavara was totally traumatized by what he has done. I mean, his arrow has struck the feet of Lord Krishna, and Krishna is dying. And Krishna tells him, "Don't worry. This is how I am supposed to, die. It's none of your fault. This is how it is. Divine will. This is the divine will that I would be going away in this manner only. So don't feel bad about it." But Jarasavara is totally, he's traumatized and he's grief struck. But the body of Krishna, when it was cremated and all, his heart wouldn't burn. They say, the legend says. So what Jarasavara does is he takes the heart and he leaves from there. This happens somewhere in Gujarat, as you know. And he comes all the way to the east and he settles somewhere in the eastern coast. And this Vishwavasu, this Savara tribe, they are actually the descendants of Jarasavara, the legend says. So it is some legends say that it is the heart of Krishna. But what it is, what it looks like, how it feels like, there is total silence about that. The priests never utter a word about that. And there is a ritual called the Nava Kalavera, when after a period that varies from 12 to 19 years, the old images, the logs actually, they are made of neem tree, wood made extracted out of the neem trees. So from 12 to 19 years, depends upon some astrological calculations, the entire images are changed, and the transfer of the Brahma Padartha takes place from the old images to the new images. And it is done by the Daitapatis, the high priests of the descendants of Jarasavara, the Savara tribe. And it is done in total darkness. The priests themselves, they are blindfolded, and they cover their hands also with a thick gloves and all that. They don't touch it physically. So gloves for the hands and blindfold for the eyes, and it's done in total darkness. And the whole thing is done in a very secretive manner. And after the transfer takes place from the old images to the new images, the old images are buried. So some say that the Brahma Padartha is actually concentrated some object which contains concentrated spiritual energy and the consciousness of Krishna. Some say that. So this is what the Nava Kalavera ritual is all about. And now, and what happens is, after that, we have the famous Ratha ceremony, where Krishna along with his Balaram and his sister Subhadra, they go to the place of their uncle, and after 7 days they come back. That means the Lord is not confined only to the temple. He moves around in the world. Lord is all pervasive. He is not confined to the temple, only to his devotees. He's available to the masses in general. That is the idea of the chariot going. That means the Lord has movement in the world. He's not static. That is one idea that the Ratha ceremony conveys. And if we go to the symbolism, that what is the idea behind this, incomplete idols or images? The idea is, firstly, the Lord or the divine is actually formless. No form can truly express what the divine is. That is why we have so many forms. Forms have been conceived by the human mind. But the formless and the nameless divine principle, nobody knows what it is. So all images in that sense are incomplete. That is the idea. So the incompleteness of the idols of Jagannath and Balaram and Subhadra is this, that all images are in fact incomplete and none can really capture the purnata, the wholeness, the fullness of the divine. So that is the, you can say, the meaning of the incompleteness of the idols. And the big eyes, one thing you will see very prominently is the big eyes of Jagannath and the other Balaram and Subhadra. Big eyes is basically the Lord is all seeing, He is Antaryami, He is omniscient. He knows all, He sees all. That is the idea of the big eyes. And there is a Vaishnava interpretation to this also, the big eyes, that Krishna, enamored with his love for Radha, he's so fascinated with the beauty of Radha that he's all eyes. All his other limbs, they shrink and they become small. Only his eyes remain, looking at the beauty of Radha. So that is also another interpretation. It's and that attraction that Krishna has for Radha, they call it Mahabhava, the supreme divine emotion, divine love, expressed through those eyes. Krishna fascinatingly watching at Radha. So that is another some meaning behind that. And the, you can say, other meanings that we can draw from this legend is forms perish because the old images are discarded and the new images are brought in. Forms perish, but the divine remains. The divine principle is carried on from the old form to the new form, the Brahma Padartha, like that. The body changes, but the soul is immortal. You know, that idea that is conveyed through that. So this is what Lord Jagannath is all about. So let us pay our obeisance to Lord Jagannath during this auspicious and holy period of Ratha Yatra, and my pranams to Lord Jagannath. Thank you.